It's our first mid-race update of the Rolex 24. After 6 hours of racing, it's been crazy, it's been wild, it's been cold, Florida cold. Let's get into it. So welcome to the entrance to the International, is it the International Horseshoe? I don't know. I'm going to call it the International Horseshoe. It's, we're renaming corners here at Daytona all of a sudden. They're calling them chicane, the Le Mans chicane. I'm not calling it that. I'm going to call it the bus stop, and always will. So the Rolex 24, the 60th running is well underway, as you can probably see behind me. And it has been one very intense race thus far. Certainly, we've got a lot to talk about. The GTD Pro class, and really just the combined GT class in general, has been, like I thought it would be, a major story. But also you've got the DPI class, which in its last year, we knew would be very competitive. Acura and Cadillac very, very close together. It looks like, at least at this point, the Cadillac has the advantage. However, a lot of that has been mechanical issues for the Acura cars at this point that have kept them out of the top spots. So let's take a look at the top class drivers and cars at the 6-hour mark. At 6 hours, leading in DPI and overall, was the 01 Chip Ganassi Racing Cadillac. That car has been blindingly fast, and we will be talking about that later. LMP2 leader, High Class Racing. They come over and bushwhack from the World Endurance Championship once a year, and they are leading currently in the LMP2 division. However, it is, of course, a competitive class, as it's a one chassis, one engine class. LMP3, Core Autosport. We haven't talked a whole lot about them, but they are currently leading LMP3. It shouldn't surprise many people because, of course, Core Autosport, they're very quick, very accomplished sports car racing team, and chalk one up, at least at the 6-hour mark, for Ligier. GTD Pro, leading overall in the GT category as well as in GTD Pro, is the number 2 KCMG Porsche. Of course, they were the fastest timed car in qualifying, had some problems in the qualifying race, started further back, but they have worked their way up into the lead, battling with the FAF Racing Porsche. And GTM, I'm actually feeling pretty good about this because I predicted currently, at least at the 6-hour mark, that the Windward Racing car would be very fast. That Mercedes has been fast in the last 2 weeks, and we'll have to see if it ends up winning when we get 18 hours into the future. So let's talk a little bit about some of the action that's happened thus far. Lots of yellows. We kind of expected that. We kind of expected a crazy race, and it has been that. Aero Motorsports was the first one to kick it off. Unfortunately, a pretty scary and serious accident here. Not so much for the Aero LMP2 itself, but a corner marshal was actually injured in this accident. Thankfully, awake and alert at the hospital, that corner worker. The second full course yellow was the 34 GTD Porsche into the wall. And then we had the real big crash of the day. 75 Sun Energy 1, 23 GTD Pro, Aston Martin, and the number 6 LMP3, that's a Duquesne. Now, it's kind of tough to tell from the video, but the 75 car got down, the Mercedes got down low. They were 3 abreast with the 2 Pro cars, the 23 and the 63. The 75 Mercedes came up, caught the 23 car, spun him into the wall. Somehow the 63 Lamborghini managed to make it out of there without major damage. But then the number 6 LMP3 came in and collided, causing more damage and debris. And actually several cars were affected by debris in that incident. Now, it's not 100% confirmed, and we probably won't be able to confirm it, at least at this point in the race. But both of the Acura DPIs have suffered issues with rear tire failures. The number 60, when Helio Castroneves was leading the race overall, suffered a tire failure, had to limp the car around. He got very lucky that that big crash happened that was able to keep him on the lead lap. But the big one, and the fact that this has put them 2 laps down at this point, the number 10, Konica Minolta, Wayne Taylor Racing Acura, also suffered a tire puncture. No yellow flag, not so lucky. They are 2 laps behind the race at this point. Now that being said, the Acuras generally, in conditions like this where the track temperature is cool and the air temperature is cool, because that's a turbocharged car, that helps them out. We've noticed that in the last few years, whether we're at Petit Le Mans, whether we're at Sebring, whether we're at Daytona. When it gets dark, when it gets cool, the turbocharged cars, we noticed that with the Mazda as well, they come to the front. Well, this entire race essentially is going to be very, very cool, very, very cold. So I think you can expect the Acuras to come on strong, especially if they can get back on the lead lap. Now the car that's really been the story thus far in the overall in DPI has been the number 01 Cadillac for Chip Ganassi Racing. Now they almost won this race last year. They, ironically enough, as we're talking about tire punctures, had a tire puncture near the end of the race. It cost them the win. It looks like they're out for revenge this year, and they are certainly dominating the race at this point. But again, it's so long to go, it's really hard to just say, oh yeah, the Ganassi Cadillac is going to win. 18 hours is a long way to go, fellas. GT. So it's been pretty obvious to me, and it was obvious from the first couple of laps, that Corvette definitely was sandbagging. Now, to what extent, I don't know. Certainly, they haven't been leading the class at this point, but in the GTD Pro category, they've been running consistently 7th and 8th. Last car is on the lead lap, but they've been staying on the back of the GTD Pro train. We'll have to see if they can survive the night, of course. What happens when that sun rises? I think Corvette's probably going to be there, if not competing actually for the win. The Porsches just look so strong right now, both the FAF and KCMG Porsches. The BMWs, unfortunately, with the games perhaps that the Corvettes were playing, it seems that the BMWs have really lost out. Both Turner Motorsports and Rahal Letterman Lanigan, they've just been dog slow all day, and unfortunately, I think some of the BOP changes really negatively affected the BMW. It also hurts that they're a brand new car, and they're probably having some teething issues as well. At one point, the trunk lid came open on one of the RLL cars, so that just tells you how new those machines are. So it's going to get absolutely wild, I think. The temperatures, you know, I don't want to say the temperatures are, you know, completely horrible right now. It's certainly cold for Florida. You know, I looked at my phone this morning and it said 5 degrees in Indianapolis. It's not going to get quite that. It's going to get around the freezing mark. It's about 40 degrees air temperature. The actual wind chill is probably a little bit colder than that. But what that's going to mean is that tire temperatures are going to be extremely important, especially through the night. Many teams are beginning to already double stint tires just so that they don't have to heat up tires and lose time out there. So watch throughout the overnight hours. It's going to get wild. It's going to get unpredictable. Cars are going to be spinning. Cars are going to be crashing. Cars are going to be braking because of these abnormally cold conditions. So that's our Hour 6 update here at the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona. I just want to shout out all the great people who have been stopping me throughout the day and appreciating the coverage. Too many to name, honestly, and it just, if that's the level of support from the people who are here, I can't even imagine the folks who are sitting at home right now enjoying this coverage at home. Hopefully warm, hopefully warmer than me right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. Enjoy some slow-mo footage and some Patreon supporter names, and we'll see you in the next video.